This is Ask Brock. I'm Brock Yorty. This week's question comes from Caleb. Brock, we're about to purchase our first solids control unit. What advice do you have? It's a great investment. It's going to change your entire drilling operation if it's sized appropriately and it does exactly what you need it to do. And that's kind of the taboo discussion that we have, is there's a wide range of solids control units and mud recycling units and mud cleaners out there. And some of them take a semi truck to pull down the road, and some can be pulled by a half-ton pickup. So now it comes down to, what type of work are you going to be doing? You're doing shallow water wells that are 8 7/8 in diameter, or are you going to try to do 16-inch holes to 1,000 feet? Because the cubic feet of material that you're removing is really going to determine the success of that piece of equipment. And so what I start thinking about is the scalping phase, and that's taking our coarse cuttings. That's our coarse screen. That's the first pass of this drilling mud, turning it back into a low solids drilling fluid that I can drill with. And so as I have this coarse scalping screen, will it take the 330 gallons a minute or these 600 gallons a minute or whatever your maximum pumping volume is it able to handle that? And that's got to be surface area, so that's length and width, and then action of the shaker. And if it can't handle what your max pumping volume, the system's too small. And sure, we have band-aids to fix that, but you need to know exactly what the limitations and what you specifically need the equipment to do. And then once we get past taking those large solids out, we got to focus on the little solids. And that's where our hydrocyclones come in. And how are they removing? And for that, depending on your manufacturer of cones, and 100% reach out to your manufacturers and have a discussion about the shaker, about the cones, about the screens, about the pickup pump, about the maximum cleaning capacity of this piece of equipment, and go from there. But let's just say your cones are 75 gallons a minute and you want to be able to continually clean and keep up. 4 cones is not going to give you that 330 gallons a minute that you need for cleaning capacity. And our fine solids is what builds up and really starts to incorporate and break down and increase our mud weight. So the next thing I want to think about is how many cones, how they're processing, and if the underflow of that cones, and that's the concentrated solids portion, the overflows are clean fluid, that's generally 80%, and then you have 20% that's concentrated solids. If it's going across the screen, that screen has to be able to remove those solids. And if it's coarser than 200 mesh, that's really hard to do if we're looking at a sand size particle of 200 mesh or 74 microns. Finally, the biggest advice I have is, do not treat your solids control unit like a mud mixing unit. Sure, you can start off and get all your mud mixed up, but as that is a active system, it is going to be really hard unless you have a dedicated tank that's isolated away that you can fully mix new drilling fluids without solids, where we're using good makeup water and we're giving it enough time to yield, and then we're adding our polymers in, so we're getting the best bang for our buck. So I think the biggest thing that everybody wants to do is they want a solids control unit that can also be a mud mixer, that also allows you to drill all at once, and something's going to give in those situations. So those are the biggies, and it's make sure you find a manufacturer that's able to support you, and find the mud engineer that is able to support you, and be boisterous. If something's not working, tell them. If you have bigger expectations, tell them. Pickup pumps is a huge issue in many of these situations, because we need a pickup pump that's going to keep that solids intact. If you have good uphole velocity and downhole hydraulics, and you're bringing these cuttings up that are a ½ inch or an inch in size, and then the pickup pump is chopping them into 1/4 or 1/8 inch size pieces, we're already starting to fail. So there's a lot of great information out there. There's the fluids processing and handling book. There's a groundwater and wells book. There's several articles out there that will 100% talk about solids control units and how best fit you. And just get into the art aspect of understanding, sometimes we have the science of separation and we're going to have the art of maintaining that science of separation. Great question. Thanks, Caleb.